Hello everyone, you're welcome to today's class. In this class, we want to look at simple interest. So when we talk about interest, interest is just the profit that bank makes when you borrow money from them, or the profit you make when you deposit your money into the bank account. Now, when you put your money into the bank account, they will charge you, you'll be given interest. And when you collect loan from the bank, you'll be charged what? Interest. So the money that is being charged by the bank is what we call interest. That's simple. But that's what we're looking at. We want to look at how do we calculate simple interest. That's our focus in this class. So the formula for calculating simple interest is the principal multiplied by the rate and time divided by what? 100. Where the principal P is what? Is the principal, right? R is the rate, right? And the T is what? Is the time, or which is usually given in the year or per month. Then why this one is only given in what? In percentage, right? So principal is also known as the capital, right? So that's as well call it what? Capital. Now, so if we have this, so these are the variables we have in this. We have SI, PRT. So we know how to calculate it. SI. So it's the main PRT. So if you want to get your P, which is the principal, that would be, if you cross multiply this, you cross multiply it, that means simple interest multiplied by what? 100 divided by RC. RT. So if it is R we are looking for, the same thing, S multiplied by what? 100. Simple interest multiplied by 100, then divided by what? PT. And if it is time you are looking for, if it is time, it's going to be what? SI multiplied by what? 100 divided by what? PR. I hope this is clear. So that is how to get that. Now, that is that. Then is when you add the interest on the loan plus the money deposited or the money borrowed, you are going to get what we call amount. So amount at the end of the year will be the principal plus will be what? The principal plus the interest. Amount is the total money that you're going to pay back to the bank. You borrowed 20,000 naira and you are charged 100 naira as interest. How much are you going to give the bank? It's going to be 20,100 naira. Is that clear? Because you are going to add the principal plus what? For the interest. That is what this one is talking about. Now we're not going to look at examples now. So let's start with this first example that we have on the board. The first one say Mr. John saves 250,000 naira with a bank for 1 year. Specific for 1 year with interest at 5.5% per annum. Per annum here is talking about what? Year. Annum means year. So we want to calculate the following. Number one, ask you to calculate the interest he will receive at the end of the year. You can see he saved it for 1 year. He saved it for 1 year, so he's going to collect interest from the bank. So in that case, what are you going to do? We're going to calculate. So for A now, solution. A, what is the simplest? We have interest, that is the interest for 1 year worth, principal times the rate times divided by what? 100. So what is the principal in this case? 250,000, right? Multiplied by the rate. What's the rate? 5.5%, which is what? 5.5%. Then for how many years? For at the end of the year, that's 1 year. So there's equal to multiply by 1, so divided by 100. So this 0 we cancel 0, then we have 250, 2500 multiplied by what? 5.5. So that gives 2,500 multiplied by 5.5, and that gives 13,000. That gives 13,750. So which means we will receive, the man will receive 13,750 at the end of the year. Then B asks you to calculate. B says calculate the simple interest for 4.5 years. Now we have known the simple interest for 1 year. So simple interest for, let me divide this, for 4.5 years will then be 4.5, that is 4.5 multiplied by interest for a year, which is what? 13,750. So what do we have? Just multiply by 4.5, and that gives 61,875 naira. So that's the interest the man will get from the bank for 4.5 years. We got 61,875 naira. Then the last question here says, what is the total amount you will save at the end of 4.5 years? So that means the amount you will save is going to have at the end of 4.5 years will be the principal plus what? The interest. What is the total amount? That's asking for amount. So that is the principal, which is what? 250,000 naira plus the interest accrued on the money, which is what? 61,875. And let's see what we're going to have. Plus 250,000. So that is going to give me 311,875. That is how to calculate the simple interest. That's all. So let's look at another example before we end the video. Now, example 2, a man borrowed 18,000 naira for 1 year and paid back 20,000 naira. So the question says, calculate the interest paid. So you can see, you borrowed 18,000, you paid back 20,000 naira. So that means you have added how much? So you need to calculate that. So this is the principle. And we said this is now the amount. So amount in this case is what? 20,000 naira. That is the money you pay back. That is interest plus the principal. So principal and the principal here is what? 18,000 naira. Now to now get the interest. So interest, this is A, position A. Interest will then be what? Amount. Since the formula for amount is what? Principal plus what? Interest. So interest will then be what? Amount minus what? The principal. Right? So that means we're going to have 20,000 naira minus what? 18,000 naira. That is what? 2,000 naira. Is that clear? So that is the interest. So we calculate the interest paid. So he paid 2,000 naira as interest. Now B asks us to find. We ask to find what is the rate of the interest. This 2,000, what is the rate of it? So the rate of interest, which I told you the other time, is that the rate is simple interest multiplied by 100 divided by what? Principal times what? The time. So in this case, it's just for 1 year. So in that, we're going to have the simple interest, which is 2,000 naira, multiplied by 100 divided by what? By the principal, which is what? 18,000. Am I with you? So this 0 cancels 0, 0 cancels 0, then 200 divided by 200 divided by 18. That gives 11.1%. So you find 11.1% times 18. So we're going to have 2,000. So that is that. I hope this is very clear. So this is 11.11%. So that is how to calculate the rate. So let's look at one more example before we end the video. All right, example 3. So Mr. Raji borrowed 200,000 naira from a bank to buy a TV. The bank charged an interest rate of 15% per annum. So if he paid the interest on the loan, that is paid interest on this 200,000, and also paid back 78,000 naira of the money he borrowed, that is paid 78,000 naira from this 200,000 naira. At the end of the first year, how much altogether did he pay back? That's the first question. B, if he paid this amount by monthly installments, how much did he pay each month? So let's start with the first one. So the first one is we need to calculate the interest on this 200, which is 15%. So interest, so will be 15% of 200,000. To 0 we cancel what? 0, right? 2 times 15, that is 30. So it means 1, 2, 3, 3 zeros. So the interest is what? 30,000 naira. So at the end of the first year. Now, he paid the interest, that is, he paid this amount and paid back 78,000 naira of the money he borrowed. That is, so total money paid at the end of the first year, total money paid back at the end of the first year. At the end of the first year would be equals to 30,000 naira plus part of the money he borrowed, be 78,000 naira. 78,000 naira. So that gives what? 108,000 naira. This is the money he paid back at the end of the first year. In total, he paid the interest and also paid 78,000 from what? 200,000 he borrowed at the end of the first year. Now, the B says if these amounts if he paid this amount by monthly installments, that is every month, this total amount he paid it monthly and it accumulated to what? 108,000 naira. So how many months we have in a year? We have 12 months. So which means, so we are going to divide this by 12. So monthly installment now, monthly installments will then be what? 108,000 divided by what? 12. And that gives us what? 9,000 naira. Right? So that's going to be what? 9,000 naira. So that is 9,000 naira. So which means he paid 9,000 every month. That's what he paid to go to the bank. So that is that. And another question can come. How much did he have left to what? To pay back. So that means we will just subtract this from this. Will be the remaining amount that is left for him to pay back. That is 200,000 minus 78,000. You get the balance. Exactly. So this is where we're going to end in this video. It's just simple interest. It's something that is new. It's not new to you. So if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and make sure you put on your watch notification bell. So anytime I release video like this, you'll be able to get notification of it. And if you find this video useful and helpful, don't forget to give us big thumb up and share the video with your family and friends. Then we'll meet in our next video. Bye for now.